If I could start all over, these are 8 habits I drill into my brain. I used to feel overwhelmed with everything, which led to anxiety and procrastination. However, after delegating and automizing unimportant tasks, everything started to change. And hold up, you don't have to be rich for this. The idea behind this habit is that we have limited amount of good decisions we can make each day. In our body, our brain functions like a computer. So each decision you make is like opening a new tab in your computer. And when too many tabs are open, things get cluttered and the system breaks down. So here's how you're gonna fix it. If you're making money, simply outsource everything that's not important to you. However, if that's not an option, create a standing operating procedure for anything that's repetitive or unimportant, like eating, cleaning, morning routines, and even deciding what to wear. Personally, I have a weekly SOP and a daily SOP. So for my weekly SOP, I start by setting up my favorite audiobook. Then I get the laundry going, take out the trash, and run to the grocery store. Once I'm home, I put the laundry in the dryer, prep my meals and supplements for the week, and I'm done. This whole process takes about an hour and a half, and it's so ingrained that I don't even have to think about it anymore. For my daily standing operating procedure, in the morning, I check my weight, drink beet juice, apply vitamin C and sunscreen, go for a run, get to work as fast as possible. At night, I prep a gallon of water, stretch, shower, pick my outfit for the next day, set the AC to 70 degrees, and go to sleep. Now, this system also applies to my workout routine. First, I set a goal, create a program tailored to it, and then follow the plan without second guessing myself. This helped me so much on staying focused without getting stressed. But did you know our pineal gland from our brain is getting calcified, making it harder for us to learn new things as we get older, which leads to our next habit? I want you to look at this. The place I live has 1,000 times more arsenic than the acceptable health guideline. So people often use water filters, but the problem is most water filters only filter chlorine, and we're still drinking toxins like birth control residue, pesticides, and heavy metals and fluoride, which poisons us and makes us dumber. So here's what I would tell myself if I could go back in time. First, filter the whole house. It's easier than you think, no drilling involved. In my apartment, we have our kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and the shower. So filter the three places. However, this isn't going to clean all of the toxins, so we'll need extra steps to cleaning our water. So we're gonna buy a countertop 4-stage reverse osmosis filtration. But now we just created another problem by making the water too clean, where we filtered out all the minerals during the process. Without the minerals, the body's gonna leach minerals from our body. So add in the alkaline option with your VOC filter. The best part is you only need to filter it once, and afterwards there's no friction behind it. So far, we've covered the defensive habits, but now let's talk about sleep. Since I started getting more sleep, my HRV jumped from being in the 50s to an average of 120 with a PR of 172. That's just the numerical data, but I also felt better, got more things done. So here's a routine I would ingrain my younger self if I could go back. First, wear blue light glasses after 6 p.m. because it's not just a screen that's bad, but any light can easily disrupt our circadian rhythm, making it harder for us to fall asleep. Then I'll tell myself to stretch more because more blood flow to the body will help us circulate the body better. Then I would also tell myself to take a warm shower an hour before bed because it mimics the natural drop in body temperature when melatonin is released. Then finally make the room dark and set the temperature to 70 degrees and get the hours in no matter what. That is the most important part. Now, let's talk about the first thing we should be doing after we wake up. Over here, I'm killing multiple birds with one stone. Getting sunlight to reset circadian rhythm, boosting heart rate from exercise. But the problem is staying consistent was very hard for me. So I want you to follow these 3 steps. First, minimize the things you do between when you wake up to going outside so you don't have to overthink. Second, focus on how great you'll feel afterwards, not the current pain you're feeling. Pain is temporary, but regret's gonna be forever. And there's so many times I regretted not working out in the morning. And last, create a small reward system where whenever you do this, give yourself a reward so you keep doing it. I personally make myself a mango ice cream on days I run longer. However, there is a downside for this habit. In my experience, the first thing we do in the morning is the number one thing we can do at peak performance. So if there is another goal that you're pursuing, that should be the first thing you should do. In that case, do that task for an hour before going on your morning runs. While we talked about great habits, I want to emphasize to my younger self that bad behaviors undermine all the good behaviors, which makes this step the most important habit. Start by listing all your negative behaviors. This is the awareness stage. However, the hard part comes next, transitioning from awareness to confrontation of why am I still doing this despite knowing better. So here's a simple trick. set up a punishment for repeating a bad habit and reward for avoiding that bad habit. For example, if I eat off diet, I do 50 push-ups, but if I stick to my diet, I reward myself with a trip to the golf course. However, sometimes we have bad judgment on what's good or bad. One example is food. Research might say this food is healthy for you, but it could be harmful if you're intolerant to it. In this case, gather data, take action, reflect, iterate. I honestly don't know how we transitioned to food all of a sudden, but take a food intolerance test. You'd be surprised. This is the skin of a truck driver after 28 years of work. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself two things. Take care of your skin and be hygienic, because 1.4 million deaths per year are attributed to diseases spread through lack of hygiene. And nobody likes you if you're dirty. You know, I'm gonna be vulnerable here. I used to be one of those guys who never washed, never applied lotion or sunscreen, saying real men don't do such thing. I was coping so hard, but if I could go back, here's how I would convince my younger self to do it. The main reason I never liked washing or applying stuff was I overcomplicated my routine. So first, make it simple. So in the morning, brush and apply sunscreen. At night, take a shower and apply skincare. So basically focus on the macros and not the micros. Then only after I mastered that first habit is when I would add in a touch of details like vitamin C serum in the morning and retinol and hyaluronic acid at night. Because vitamin C is an antioxidant, meaning it's gonna fight harmful free radicals that come in contact with your skin from external sources like air pollution. Now, the reason why I would add in retinol and hyaluronic acid at night is that it neutralizes free radicals in the middle layer of your skin. Not the surface, but it penetrates inside. So basically it helps the skin stretch and flex. So therefore it's going to reduce the skin wrinkles and lines that we have. Now, how you're positioned in the day determines your entire day. We've all heard that sitting for too long is bad for us, but did you know standing all day without moving is just as harmful? Regardless of sitting or standing, if you're not moving, you're limiting blood circulation, which not only limits blood to go to our brain, but kills our physical health. So here's the 3-step solution I would tell my younger self. First, so even if I'm broke, I would tell him to save the money and buy a standing desk. But additionally, buy a standing mat where you can move around and a standing treadmill to keep you moving. Personally, I would tell myself to use the mat when I'm in deep work. Perhaps put a golf ball underneath to massage the feet as it reduces foot fatigue. But when I'm doing tasks that aren't too mentally demanding, I would tell myself to get on that treadmill. However, my younger self would be too lazy to follow it. So I would tell him to start small, like 5% standing a day, and slowly increase that number over time. While we've talked about eliminating bad habits in the physical sense, the next habit is going to focus on eliminating the bad emotions that we feel. You know, looking back, I always felt angry or sad looking back at the past, or feel anxiety thinking about the future. So to keep my sanity while performing at my best, I would tell myself to pursue one goal at a time and work intensely pursuing that one thing. However, if we don't follow this one rule, which I still struggle to do, it often leads me to a situation where I'm more frustrated than angry. If I look back at when I'm failing on something, it's not because I was bad at it, but more because I didn't stick to it long enough. So getting into the habit of being impatient on the actions but patient on the results is something I would remind my past, current, and future self. So these were the 8 habits I wished I learned earlier, but there's something that I didn't tell you. Everything that I just told you is completely useless if you don't take care of your health. Luckily, we have this video on how to improve your lifespan and health, so go check it out. I'll see you next week.